you're smart enough and careful enough. You gotta remember, anything you write on the internet's never gonna go away. You can't delete it. So some things you might wanna say publicly about whatever's going on in your life or your business. You can't always say what you want to, especially if you are a business owner. So if that would be your approach someday is blogging, you have to be a professional. You can't let your emotions get the best of you. Yeah.
Have you done any like patents on changes you've made?
Right, we do have a patent on our process that forms the steel down. We started that process in 2009 and we just got granted the patent. It's a long drawn out process, it's very expensive. I hope it pays off someday. But yeah, if you have an idea, if you have an invention, certainly explore being protected if you think it's a good enough invention, even if maybe you don't think it's a good enough invention. And if you have the means, it's very expensive to get a patent. So you gotta make sure that it is worthwhile. What else? Yeah.
What college did you go to?
I went to the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Didn't you attend Mac for a little bit too?
Yeah. I took summer, I started taking classes with Mac when I was in high school. Took some AP classes. And a couple summers while I was down in Mississippi, I took some correspondence courses here from Mac. So I probably have maybe 30 hours from Mac. I apologize, I failed to mention that.
I was on your LinkedIn page earlier, so you know.
Anybody else? Well, I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff, other things I could tell you that would be a benefit. I just can't think of it right now. Yeah.
What's your favorite part of your job?
Really, it's meeting the people who purchase our instruments. That's my favorite thing. A week from now, we'll be going to North Carolina for a festival where it's people, all the people there play our instrument. And to make personal contact, to be able to create a personal relationship, you know, it started off as business, it can also funnel into an actual relationship and very rewarding. So that's my favorite thing is the people.
Do you guys do a lot of traveling?
Not as much as I used to. When I used to only make the Caribbean steel drums, I've traveled quite a few months out of the year, go to different schools and universities to tune up their drums, because it's an instrument that has to be maintained like a piano does or most musical instruments. But when we started our new venture, I stopped doing a lot of that other steel drum tuning. It's about the same time I started a family. I didn't want to be away as much, and it was much more challenging to do so. But we go to about 3 engagements a year. One in North Carolina in September. We go over to the UK, England, for a festival over there. And my goodness, where's the other one? I can't think of it now. Down in Georgia, a really cool retreat on a weekend for our instruments.
Why do you everyone do so much research?
How do I feel? Well, that's a good question. It depends on how the instrument's being played, you know, your approach to it. I guess a better way to answer that question is the first time someone plays our instrument, and if I'm there to witness it, like if someone comes to visit our place, our shop, and they play the instrument for the first time, it's really great. And you can have this 60-year-old man, you put this drum on their lap and they're like a kid. It's such an interesting experience playing one of these that it can turn anyone into, you know, into mush, because they love it, and it's a new experience. So whatever their personality is, it becomes curiosity of what is this? How are these sounds coming out? So when I see that, it's very rewarding. And then when I see a professional playing something really wicked on one of our drums that maybe I never would have come up with on my own, that's when it's really cool. Like, oh, they did something with that I never planned on. And then there's sometimes that they don't understand the instrument, they just beat the crap out of it, and it's very aggravating. So, yeah.
Two more questions, they're gonna come by, we each have a question, and he's gotta go.
Okay.
How much do you drum benefit?
That's a big question. There's the demand for our instrument far outweighs the supply. We just can't make enough. If we wanted to, we could charge a really high premium for every single one. But answering her question, me enjoying the people so much and knowing that not everyone has the same means as the next person, we try to make our instrument accessible to the masses, a wide variety of financial ability. So we just did a batch of 100 instruments, or we're starting a batch of 100 instruments. Because of the sheer number of people that are interested in our instrument, we have a lottery of all these. It's thousands of people on the waiting list for 100 instruments. And what they do, there's 3 categories. What everyone does is they just name the price. They, honestly, we ask them to be honest, on the honesty, so what can you afford? What is it worth to you? What is our instrument? What does it mean to you financially? What can you afford? What are you willing to afford? The other is they have to pick a number between 1 and 200. And the other option, not an option, the other aspect is the length of time they've been on our waiting list. So we factor all of these things in, and we come up with the yearly revenue that our company needs to make this, so we can pay our bills, salaries, and all that stuff, and be able to invest in new tooling and new operations. And we come up with that number first before we're skewed by the numbers coming at us. And then we just let the chips fall where they may. So luck people, if they guess the right number between 1 and 200, they get in. The longer they've been on, the more chance they have of getting a Halo this time. Since they've been on our list since 2008 or 2009, they've got a high chance. And of course, the people who bid high have a certain ability to get on too. So we just let the high ones. It's an experiment, and it's interesting. But for the high ones, it allows us to offer one for below what we would consider market value, and we just let it even out that way. So to answer your question, what is the price? That's really hard to say. But just an average would be between $2,000 and $3,000 for an instrument. But we're selling one for $100, and we're selling one for about $3,000.
Last question, and I know you got a wonderful question, Amanda. If you've got more questions for Kyle, email me. I see him multiple times a week. We can get you, or you can email him. I'm sure he'll answer you through his website. If we wanted to listen to the Halo, is there a local opportunity for us to listen to the music performed, created by you?
Not really. We don't have any customers in Missouri, period. But every once in a while, a customer of ours will play at the coffee house in downtown Farmington, the Law House. I don't know if you know where that is. It's across from the courthouse. That's the only place publicly, besides maybe the Santine Center when I played at one of the high school concerts, that a Halo would be played, and that's like one time a year. But we do have our shop where people can come. It's kind of an appointment type of thing, but if you want to come see the instrument, we can facilitate that.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Business people means that when they're not working, they're not getting paid. I don't know if you realize that. That's one of the big drawbacks of working for yourself. When you're not working, you're not making any money. So I appreciate your time that you gave us this afternoon.
It's my pleasure. Good luck, everybody. Good.
Okay, next, for our next presenter, we have a nurse, and her name's Holly, and she works for Preferred Hospice, and she's here to talk to you about maybe her education, her steps of what she did to become a nurse, and her job now.
Hey guys. So I will start by telling you a little bit. I am a first generation college grad myself, so I'm proud that you guys are doing this.
don't think there was anything like this for me when I was in school. We were pretty poor and didn't have a lot of means, so. I actually did get some scholarships whenever I graduated high school. However, I kind of wasted that opportunity that I had. So I went back to school, to college in 2004, and just worked on some prereqs for the nursing program. And got an associate's degree, and then I went to the nursing program and graduated in 2006. And then I got my bachelor's in 2009, which was way easier than the nursing program. All right, is anybody interested in the medical field? But it's a great field to get into. You'll always have a job. And you can do many things. As you can see, I do not have scrubs on, but I do a lot of administrative type things. I am the admissions nurse for our company. And does anybody know what hospice is? It's a sad deal. So basically what I do, I go out and meet these families of people. Hospice is for people that are in the end stages of their life, they're dying. So we come in and we make them comfortable, like we take care of their pain, anxiety. We're not just there for the patient either, we're there for the family. You know, a lot of families have a lot of tension and grieving, so we also take care of them as well. So initially, I'm the first person they meet. I go out and I tell them what we do and how we're gonna take care of them. A lot of times when I get there, they're in a crisis, like they have a lot of pain. And so that's always the first thing that I do. I like hospice because it is a very liberal job. I probably shouldn't say this, but our doctors that we work under trust us a lot with anything. So we're basically making orders. We're calling things in, you know, what we need. We work autonomously, which means kind of like our own boss. So we're out there in the field, we call it. It's just, we go from place to place to place. We're not cooped up in one building all day, so that's what I love about it. Because I like to be out and about and social. So we have to kind of work, we have to be flexible and just kind of think on our feet, which for some people they like the structure, but I like just to be out. What else should I?
So,
I want a
what
question.
school?
Well, I'm good with questions. It's kind of
Okay.
hard to talk about myself.
So what school did you go to? Where'd
I
you go
went to college here. I graduated from high school from West County, but I did go to Mac to get my nursing degree, and I got my bachelor's through Central Methodist. Like I said, which was a lot easier. It was just writing paper and standing up here and doing PowerPoints. It was really easy.
What's your name again?
Holly Hampton.
How long did you stay in college for?
A total of 6 years in college. And I advise you to do it when you're young because I have little kids.
I'm just
Yes, I'm an RN. No, well, the first 2 years I went just getting prereqs. The nursing program is pretty tough. You can do it. It's just, the way they have it designed is, like if you're going fresh out of high school, they'll have you take Comp 1 and Comp 2 and all those algebra classes and just those little classes that get in the way of your nursing classes, which a lot are hard science classes. Like there's anatomy and physiology and all that. And just, I can't think, chemistry, all those kind of classes are really hard that you need more time to concentrate on.
For becoming a nurse, like for the nursing program here, do they do a lot of hands-on stuff?
Yes, there's a lot of clinical time. The first semester is just making beds and putting in catheters and stuff like that. But then you go out and you start working in hospitals and nursing homes and working with kids and maternity with pregnant women.
Do you have a presentation that you like for in hospice?
Most, that's a good question. Most are elderly, 60s on down. I have had quite a few young patients lately. The youngest patient I ever had was 12. And that was really rough. I get to like that one. He was the sweetest kid I ever met. But basically around here, it's mostly the elderly. There's been quite a bit of 40-year-old people lately too. Do you know like people with cancer and heart disease and dementia and stuff like that?
To go back to her question about,
Yeah, I did
about
answer
your
that.
school, one of our students last year that was a senior, she took most of her prereqs in high school. So you can do that, so that way you'll be ready, you don't have prereqs.
Right, suggest to get as many of those classes that you can out of the way, because you really do take a lot of them. So I did that, and then I got my associates, which was 2 years, or an RN, and it's like, it's 16 or 18 months for an LPN, I don't remember. I do strongly urge you, if you're thinking about doing an LPN versus an RN program, they're starting to phase out LPNs in a lot of hospitals, big hospitals. Will make you work